So now we're going to move on and discuss cultivating a community focused on anti-violence with Dr. Kenyatta Dotson. Dr. Dotson is a lifelong resident of Flint. She is a community organizer, veteran, and a woman of faith who encourages positive, systematic change throughout the city of Flint, Genesee County, and beyond. She has over 30 years of community development experience, serving as an advocate for youth, families, and survivors of violence. Dr. Dotson currently works at Michigan State University and attends Church Without Walls. She is also a mother and grandmother. Dr. Dotson has a master's degree in social work from Michigan State University and recently completed her doctorate degree in ministry from Ashland University. Her favorite quotes are, "Change begins with me, get involved and make a difference," and "everybody is somebody." And without that, I'd like to introduce Dr. Dotson.
Hello. Hi, everybody. It's good to be here with you all today. Thank you for this wonderful invitation. And it's just a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be amongst and in front of community to have these wonderful conversations, which I know will amount to action in some shape, form, and way, in one way or another. So to dive right into things, this conversation is so needed. We definitely value our Black elders, our Black leaders in community. They have made such an amazing impact within our lives, individually and collectively, in so many ways. And so before I start, I just want to mention something that I don't know if we've thought about very much, but if we think about it, I think you will understand what I'm saying. If we eliminate the tolerance for violence, we can eliminate the act of violence. And I'll just let that soak in for a moment. If we can eliminate the tolerance for violence, we can eliminate the act of violence. Too often we allow violence to exist within our lives, within our community, within our spaces. And in order to eliminate violence as a whole, we first have to not accept the existence of violence within our space. And we have to acknowledge that violence is not welcome in our home, is not welcome in our community, is not welcome in our workplaces, is not welcome in our private spaces. Whether violence is seen or unseen, it is not welcome. And violence it exists in so many ways. Violence is systems of oppression. Systems of oppression is violence. Bullying is violence. It is not possible to talk about violence without also looking at systems which perpetuates the issues of violence. Violence is not just acts of violence, it's also systems of violence. So it's not possible to talk about being anti-violent. No, you can go back to the first slide. It's not possible to talk about being anti-violent or having a community that is focused on safety, peace, acts of violence, or having acts of kindness, equality, genuinely being human or having humanity without acknowledging where we are, where we were, and where we have yet to be. So when we think about bringing awareness to the impacts of community violence amongst older adults and a road to resilience, we truly have to think about all of these things, our past, our present, and our future, in order to truly cultivate a community focused on anti-violence. We must first recognize and value with intention the existence of one another, regardless of our race, our color, our class, our sex, or any other outwardly distinction that has the potential to divide rather than unite. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So when we think about our Black leaders, our Black elders, we have to think about what was, what is, and what is yet to be. What was is our past, what is our present, and what is yet to be is, of course, our future. Everything and all people are truly interrelated. I need us to understand that everything is truly interrelated. We didn't just come to be. Who you are right now, you didn't just happen to be who you are right now. What you have, you didn't just get to where you are all by yourself. Somebody did something somewhere, whether you believe it or not, to help you become and to be who you are right now. Somebody sacrificed something to help you to get to where you are and to be where you are today. Over the past 6 weeks, I've had the pleasure of teaching a wonderful group of young people, age 18 to 24. And what they mentioned to me just last week is that they fear the generation. They fear for the life of the generation coming up behind them. And I asked them why. They said because they don't have a grandmother, a great-grandmother, a TT, or an elder in the community. And you all know what I'm talking about. You probably got that visual right now in your head. The person who used to live next door to you, who was the great-grandmother or the grandmother of the neighborhood. You may have your own grandmother or great-grandmother in your mind, or your TT. We were talking about the other day when we used to have these family get-togethers, and everybody would go to that person's home within the family. Everybody would go to the house, but there was no space to accommodate everybody in the family. But it didn't matter. Everybody just went to that house. And it was the elder within the family that just accommodated the whole family, or that one person in the community who just took care of everybody. But these young people, age 18 to 24, was just saying that the young people below them don't have that. And they said, the community that we had, these family members that we had, they would correct us, they would scold us, they would chastise us, but they would do all of this in love. And they said the difference between my generation and the generation below me and their generation and the generation below them is this village of people that we had in our life and within our community, according to this group of young people, is that this group of young people age 12 to 17, they lack this love and attention of the Black leaders and the Black elders and this village of caregivers, these family members who genuinely love the community and love those kids in the family who raise them and teach them love, sometimes in a hard way, but in a giving way. So if a parent is a friend to their kid, if they're drinking, smoking with their kid, cussing their kid out, leaving their child to fend for themselves, abusing, which I heard some of my friends and colleagues talking about this earlier, abusing and misusing their kid, never showing their child genuine love. If the community is never showing a kid in the neighborhood genuine love because they're not getting it from home, then what does a child do? They resort to violence. Hurt people hurt people. I know y'all heard it before. Hurt people hurt people. So the cycle and the course of violence, it continues. Why? Because if you don't show love, if you aren't giving love, then what do you give? You continue to dispense hurt. So if this gap truly does exist, which the young people age 18 to 24 says that it does, then our community, our village, our families need to identify this, and we need to make sure that we're giving this love. Our elders, they gave it to us. Our great leaders, they gave it to us. They made sure that we had it to the best of their ability. So if this gap exists, we need to make sure that we're intentionally looking for it and that we're intentionally giving it back. It's needed now more than ever. So to understand how to truly cultivate a community focused on anti-violence, we first must go back in order to move forward. Our Black leaders, our elders, they held it down for many years through sacrifice, through hurt, through heartache, through being told that they were nobody and nothing. By being constitutionally, it was law that we were basically less than nothing as Black people, just based on the color of our skin. I'm going to get into that in just a moment. This means for many of us who are 50 and older, our parents understand what it means to experience deeply rooted racism. simply based on the color of our skin. And if we go even deeper, our grandparents and their parents understand slavery or some aspects of it. And you can go to the next slide. And I just want to let you all know, slavery did happen. If anybody tells you that slavery didn't happen, and I don't care how much time goes on, slavery did happen to Black people. And 100 more years can go on, but we cannot erase history. Slavery did happen. And we have to honor our history and the fact that slavery did happen. And as a result of slavery, we are still behind, not only as Black people, but as a society, as an America, we are still behind, and we have to continuously work as a people, not only as a Black people. We have to work as a people, as a united people, to come together and have an equal society, an equitable society where we are truly at one level. So according to the dictionary and also the encyclopedia, a person who experienced slavery is a person who is the legal property. So that means it was constitutionally bound. So according to our nation, it was okay for people to legally own a Black person. So it was a legal property. A slave was a legal property of another person. And this person was forced to obey another individual. And that other individual was a Caucasian person, a person who works very hard without proper appreciation, and also a person who is excessively dependent upon or controlled by something or someone else. And a slave was also the poorest people of the world. And so that's according to the dictionary. There's another definition here that comes from the encyclopedia, but you can read that at your own time and when you get an opportunity. So I just wanted to show you this information. So you can go on to the next slide if you don't mind. Thank you. So these are actual documents that were available when slaves were put up for auction. And just wanted to show you just the worth of a person during this time period. So when you think about what our Black elders and Black leaders went through and how much perseverance they had, how much courage they had, and how much they sacrificed on behalf of us, this is how important it is to just show the worth and the dignity that Black people persevered and pushed through. So I just wanted to show you this just so that you can have an idea of the strength of our Black elders and leaders. Thank you. You can go on to the next slide. And when you think about being somebody and how important you are as a result of what has happened in the past, what is happening presently, I just wanted to show just how important we are as a result of what our Black elders and leaders have done to make a contribution to today's society. So of course, we are somebody, regardless of what our elders, ancestors, and great leaders of today and yesterday have endured. They never gave up, never gave into the belief that they were nobody or succumbed to the ideology that their contribution to this world, their family, was insignificant and merely that of slave labor. Black people always knew they were somebody great. Thank you. You can go on to the next slide. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave this quote: "Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count, always feel that you have worth, and always feel that your life has ultimate significance." So I just want to show that the contribution of our elders have been significant, continue to be significant as we continue to move forward into our greatness and into our tomorrow. You can go on to the next slide. Ubuntu speaks about our interconnectedness At the very beginning, I said that everything is interrelated. You cannot be human all by yourself. If you have this quality, you are known for your generosity. We think of ourselves far too frequently as just individuals, just becoming who we are because we just evolved. Separated from one another, you are not, you are connected, and what you do affects everything, the whole world. This is Bishop Tutu. And these are just some pictures of individuals who have achieved significant greatness. And they did it because of other contributions to today's society. The last slide, I believe. This just shows some contributions from 1870 to 1965. It took all of this time with Black people being, Black leaders having significant challenges to make sure that we had the right to vote. They endured much suffering and a lot of sacrifice. Many people lost their lives during this time period, but they never gave up. And today we have the ability to vote, not only vote, but run for office. Many people are in office today because of our sacrifice as Black elders, Black leaders, and just wanted to make this mention. The next slide. And this last slide here, Coretta Scott King said, the greatness of community is most accurately measured by the compassionate action of its members. And this again just shows how we as a Black people have evolved as a result of the contributions that have made up to today. Thank you. The last slide. Remember, we are because of who they were and continue to be. The work continues. Thank you so very much for your time, and let's continue to go forth.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dotson. That was such a powerful presentation. And I did want to share the flyer that you sent me. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and put that up in just a second, if that's okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Let's see. Just going to pull it up. While I'm pulling that up, if anybody has any questions, please drop them in the chat. All right, just a second. All right, can everybody see this? Okay. Dr. Dotson, did you want to give an introduction about the Unity March Against Violence?
Yes, so as I stated, the work continues, and it's not just about the Unity March Against Violence, but there's so many other efforts that are going on. Just get involved if you are not already doing something. Please let us know what you're doing. This is one effort that we do not only on June 24th. This has been happening every fourth Saturday of the month. For the past 22 years, it happens by design 1 week after Juneteenth, and that has been happening for the past 22 years by design. And it happens to honor those that we've lost to violence, but also honor life in general, to go into communities that are under-resourced, underserved, and to bring resources right into the neighborhood, and to also connect with community who have been devastated by violence, and to give them hope, and to see how we can be of support. So if you're able to help, if you are one who have been touched by violence, we want to support you. Please come out on Saturday and let's stay connected thereafter.
Wonderful. We have a question in the chat. Ali asked, how do we as a person unite to make not just our community, but others a village again?
You first start with individually. First, assess what can you do, as an individual person in your own home. First of all, what's going on in your own house that you might need to make a change? Do you need support in that? If so, who can support you in that? If I can help, please reach out and we can brainstorm it together. If somebody in your community can help, maybe it's a neighborhood block club, maybe it's your church. If you're a church, how do you do that? First, make an individual decision. And then from there, how do you help from a community standpoint? How do you help from a church standpoint? Every church, there's so many churches in the city of Flint. As churches, what do we do as churches to be a center of hope and a beacon of light within our communities? People should be able to run into a church and ask for help. Our doors shouldn't be locked. They should be open, and we should be able to assist neighbors in the community. And they should know us. Whether, it doesn't matter about denomination or any of those things. People should be able to come to the church for help as needed. Let me know if I can help in any type of way, even if it's just for us to talk through things and try to figure it out.
Next, we're going to show a brief video again about HB Flint.
Did you know older Black men care about living a long and healthy life? But where you live and work, health behaviors, healthcare access and experiences, and a lack of information about how to make the best choices for our health often get in the way of being healthy. We need to know more about how to support Black men in their efforts to be healthy. And that's exactly what research does. If you have the time and interest in helping us to advance science on how Black men live, age, and experience common health conditions like memory decline, diabetes, mobility, hypertension, and more, there are new opportunities to participate in research focused on older adults. We understand that people are mistrustful of research because of the abusive legacy of the Tuskegee study and other examples. We want you to know that there are several safeguards in place to protect the health, safety, and privacy of research participants. For example, all studies must be reviewed by a panel of experts at a university called an Institutional Review Board, or IRB. Then, studies that want to work with community members in Detroit or Flint can go through additional layers of review by non-medical community advisory boards to make sure they are moral, ethical, and confidential, that they obtain consent, and provide clear information on the purpose of the study. Our Healthier Black Elders program in Flint and Detroit is focused on ensuring that research on older adults includes members of this community by enrolling members into a free research pool or registry that local researchers must apply to in order to receive access to a list of members to contact for their study. Our Healthier Black Elders program helps connect Black older adults with research studies approved by both the University Institutional Review and a community advisory board of Black older adults and aging agency leaders. Some of these approved studies provide compensation to participate. Each one differs, and researchers can tell you more about what their study offers when you sign up. We provide free programming on health and well-being hosted at local senior centers and online with tutorials on how to participate if you can't get there in person. A newsletter featuring community events and community member profiles, research studies and findings, and continuing health education. Did you know that most of what we know about health and aging for Black elders is based on research with women? Black men need to be at the table of research discoveries so that we can have the needed information to support them in living long and healthy lives. We need you. If you're interested in learning more about the Healthier Black Elders program in Flint or Detroit, you can visit us online at www.engageus.org.